Let everybody file in. I'm going to speak first. Very special broadcast. The doctor's office. Hello, hello, hello. Folks, share that you are watching. Remember, you can type in someone's name, and that will then alert them that we're live and that they can join us. So we have a very special broadcast, and we're going to start momentarily. I like to give everyone just kind of a moment. I almost envision like everyone filing into the room. Hope everyone's well on this Thursday. We have solved the coyote problem, apparently, in Warwick. And now we're just going to wait for Roberta Farrell, who will give us the okay. But I can already see that people are anxious to hear from our guest, and he's very kind to sit down. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, Robin. Hello, everybody. So we're just waiting now on Roberta, and I think Roberta will should be okay. I was in communication with her just a short time ago. Unless, oh, wait a minute. No, we're good. Audio, video is great. All right. Folks, good evening. It is Juan. We are here with the one and only Dr. Mota. Doctor, thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Juan, thank you for having me.
I want to start off, and folks, I want the doctor to understand and everyone else. Everyone has their own style, and I don't want to go through a full rehash. So I'm very big on, and I said this to the doctor, there's a great scene in Mad Men where Burt Cooper quotes the Japanese and says, a man is whatever room he is in. And right now, Dr. Mota is in this room. So, but I want to start off with Memorial Hospital. And I want to start off the premise of this. I was told that last fall, Governor McKee told Josh Saul, get the deal done with Mota. That's what I was told. Now, you met with Josh Saul. Is that accurate? I heard you also met with the mayor of Pawtucket. But let's just start with, you've been in the news. Where are things right now with Memorial Hospital?
Well, thank you, Juan, for having me.
Very welcome.
So Memorial Hospital, as you know, Bayport International Holdings is our publicly traded company, yep. BAYP on the OTC, and I'm the president of that company. We have a real estate division. So in talks with some banks that we were working with, they had asked me where I was located, and I told them Rhode Island. So when they told me that I was from Rhode Island, when I told them I was from Rhode Island, they asked me if I knew Memorial Hospital. They had a loan that was in default, and it was the only loan they ever did in history, of course, and here it is in Rhode Island. So they asked me if I knew Memorial Hospital. Now, I was born here. I know Pawtucket. I know Mayor Grabian. I'm a big fan of his. I think, he brings a real good business background to the city. Yep. I thought it was a great place for us to be. So after months of negotiations, the banks had already loaned the money to the previous buyer of the building. So the idea is either let it go, and then years and years and years of this place getting even worse, or do we work together, take it on, and that's what we did. So we met with the mayor's office, and actually the first day I was here, Amos House was here, and there was a sprinkler had gone bad, and I was touring the building, and they were evacuating. So we had to get it ready for them, and now I can say it is ready for them. And that's when the first time I ever heard of Josh Saul. He had given me a call on the first day.
He was the McKee Housing Secretary.
He was, yep. And he had given me a call as we were going on a tour. I didn't reach out to the state. And he said, listen, anything you need to do to get Amos House back in, we're 100% behind you. Yeah. So I said, okay, no problem. He had my number. He reached out that night. I believe it was one of the holidays. We actually got on a call with the governor's office. I mean, that's how important it was, because obviously, the housing is a big situation here.
And the governor was under fire, especially the month of November. Governor McKee was under fire because the homeless advocates were sleeping out of the State House. Okay, so how do you go from that to, and again, I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but Josh Saul was then terminated. But Where do things stand now, and are you still optimistic about the Memorial Hospital project?
Sure. I mean, I'm here every day, and we have a developer now that's coming in, and they're going to take over. I really was just here for a short period of time to get Amos House back in. Now I've accomplished that over the last 4 months. Everything is ready. The beds are ready. The rooms are ready. We put in a new entertainment system, entertainment room, new cameras, new alarm system, added rooms. So they're much better off today than they were even 4 months ago. But now we're ready to work on the bigger project, and the bigger project is creating 350 units, affordable housing units, which really fixes the problem. So the problem is shelters, because they can't get affordable housing. Well, you got to fix the problem down the road. Down the road is, where do these people go? You're not going to just keep putting them in shelters. You need affordable housing. We have 350 apartments that are ready to be built. We have all our plans. We're going to the city with a master plan. We have our developer. We have our contractor.
So that's all happening.
Everything is happening. Unfortunately, we live in a world that's upside down. You can't tell who's telling the truth and not telling the truth, and you almost can't blame people because they only hear what they hear. But the reality is,
the work's being done.
The work is being done. I mean, we just finished up. Again, we have to go to master planning because this was a hospital. So there's some zoning things, but our team has spent north of $12 million.
How?
So no, we're not going anywhere. There was
is the mayor still on board? Because Mayor Grabian met with you. I hope I'm not breaking it, but he did meet with you, and from what I was told, Mayor Grabian was like, we're all in with Dr. Mota.
So we've met with the mayor several times. As I said, I've had a past with him for the last 15 years, just being a fan. And yeah, we showed him the plan. We showed him what we want to do here. And again, I'm not taking all the credit. The previous owner, who had ideas to do some great things, he just ran out of the money.
What about, there was a story that the Attorney General was somehow getting involved. And I don't want to get bogged down in any legal element, but is there any, what can you tell us?
And it's not a negative. What happened was, when the hospital was shut down, and it's not every day hospitals shut down, they had to put something called a cypre into effect. That cypre specifically said, because Care New England is our neighbor, they owned this property. They had to split them. And when they split them, it became a condo. And they wanted to make sure there were certain restrictions. For example, they didn't want a shopping center to come here, but they were okay with a veterans affordable housing, things of that nature. So a plan was created. The only reason why the Attorney General's part of this now is because it's still in that 3-year window where the cypre is. Okay. So he has to weigh in just to make sure that we're still doing the same thing we were, which we are. Okay. So again, people take things, blow them out of proportion, and unfortunately people can only get the news from certain areas, and they believe things that are not true. But yes,
so he's not standing in the way, the Attorney General?
Not at all.
No.
Nope.
So if someone wants to open what will it be? Mixed development, apartment, low-income housing? Is there someone that could contact you that says, I want one of those low-income apartments?
So not today. We're still thinking about which way we're going to go. Okay. Right now, we do have a plan for affordable housing, but it could change, and it could go to market value. We're working with the city for their needs. We're working with the state. There's a lot of different parties that go into this. And everything we're going to talk about today, you're going to realize that people want an answer today. But it takes time, and it's got to be patient. And this building's been sitting here for 5 years. When I got here, sprinklers were going off, pipes were breaking.
You put in $12 million worth of work, or just like hours that everything adds up?
So that's in totality. Okay. What the previous owner received from the banks, but we've put in about 1.2, 1.3 million over the last 6 months rehabbing the place. But now we're stable. Now we can really take a step back. We're going to open up offices and, like a WeWork space. We're going to have daycare here. So there's not just apartments. There's going to be a restaurant. But it takes time. We're coming into a new project. We have to go in front of the city. We have to go in front of zoning. And again, people want the answer yesterday, but it's going to take a little bit of time. This is a massive undertaking. But as far as the state, the city, the AG's office, everybody's working hand in hand. There is no issue. So I don't know why, You know, you're hearing it, I hear it, you know, but behind the scenes, everything's going very smoothly. It's stable.
Is it maybe a union conflict that some union representatives showed up? They want in on, you know, you got to remember also that soccer stadium is not happening, so they're looking for some project. Is it more maybe a work dispute of some kind?
Listen, we're in Rhode Island, okay?
That's a very good point.
So Rhode Island is a unique state, and even the banks and the folks that are partners with us, and I told them, listen, I'm suited for this because I know Rhode Island. Yes, the union did come, and I'll be honest with you, they were very nice. We spoke about the different project we were doing, and I told them, listen, we're not at that point yet. However, when we are, we have contractors here that are union as well. So we're willing to work with everyone. What I don't want to have happen here is an opportunity for the state to fix the problem. So we're with the governor, we're with the mayor, and we want to make sure that the neighbors are very happy with what gets chosen here. Nobody wants a shelter. Nobody wants to live in a shelter, first of all, right? And then nobody wants the shelter in their city. We get it. I get the politics of it. But if we fix the problem down the street, right, which is where do these people go? They go into affordable housing. Right. So an affordable housing is not bad. I mean, I don't know if the viewers know this, but the way the affordable housing works, it could be a teacher, it could be a police officer. People just, when they think shelter, must be someone that's homeless, that doesn't have a job, drugs. It's not that at all. Yep. So people just need to understand, educate themselves. We're going to do our best to educate them so that they know what's going on. But Memorial is strong. It's going to be a
McKee, the governor's on board.
100%.
Okay. Now, Skyline.
Yeah.
I had actually interviewed you when you're first going to do Skyline. I said, at the time,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
I remember.
That's a tough spot. A lot of businesses have been in and out. You did open Skyline. You had the laser show on New Year's Eve. Mayor Alorza told me, this is several years ago, Mike Mota is the best thing to happen in the city of Providence. Mayor Alorza was totally on board. So without going through everything and then COVID, today, where is Skyline now? Are you still in business? Is there a problem with the new administration? Where are things with Skyline?
Skyline, and I'm going to say it here, is 100% in business.
It is.
100%. I've heard reports, and sometimes I hear myself for the first time. I'm looking on my phone. I'm like, okay, that's news to me. Let's talk about Skyline for a minute. Yep. Skyline is a beautiful, beautiful venue in the heart of Providence. Yes. When we took it over, it was not nice. No. It was falling apart. The neighbors were complaining. There were needles everywhere. It was just bad. Chief Clements, who, you know, good luck, Chief, where he's doing. Wonderful chief of the city of Providence. Partner. Yep. We cleaned it up. Yes. I mean, we spent $1.7 million. Yes.
Inside is beautiful. Chandelier.
We've done, just so everybody knows, the governor's conference. Governors came from all over the country. They chose our location. Yep. The treasurer's conference. All kinds of events. Thousands of events.
I went to a PPAC anniversary.
Oh, that was great, wasn't it? Yep. PPAC on the roof. We have the best location.
Brown University uses it every spring.
Everybody. Yep. We do thousands of events. We've been good neighbors to the city. We don't own the building, okay? I don't even own the building. So it's funny to watch the things. People twist everything. It's like Michael Motta's Skyline. I don't even own it. But it's okay. To answer your question, we have tons of events on the calendar. What hurt us the most was COVID. Right. It didn't just hurt us, it hurt everyone.
But were you open like last weekend? When's the last time an event was at Skyline?
We're open. We had 3 events last weekend. We had 1 last night. We have 4 this weekend. Wow. Remember, everybody, Skyline is not a restaurant. Right. It is an event only. Why? Because when we came in, this is very important, when we came in, they did not want anything past 12 o'clock. No business will survive in that restaurant world without having over 12. We did that. We changed it for the city.
Any bar will tell you they make the most money in drinks between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning.
So we had to make a decision. I had done weddings all my life. There wasn't really a great venue. My father-in-law was in construction. So we poured everything we had in it, heart and soul. We were doing $3 million, and we were going to the moon. What happens? Pandemic hits, closes everything down. Staff, chefs. Nobody wants to work anymore. We had a riot. The first building that got hit in
I
Rhode
remember
Island
that. That's right.
was my building.
That's right. They broke every window.
Now, let me make something very clear.
They actually burned a cruiser right across.
They did, right with my chair, from my chair, yeah.
Okay.
Let me make something crystal clear.
Was that a negative effect on business?
The chair missing, or the
No, the riot.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit. I was watching it from the door ring bell, yeah, because these new criminals, they actually film it, so that we know exactly who it is. So let me make it perfect clear with the city. We were the best thing for Skyline in that building for the city of Providence because the city doesn't have a ton of money. I'm not saying anything anyone doesn't know. Right. They are terrible landlords. Am I saying that they're bad people? No, they're just not landlords, right? Politics, that kind of thing is not business, right? So when we came in, there were extra monies that were needed to get that building to work, above and beyond the 1.7. Any business that comes in, they know they're going to pay rent, but they don't think they're going to have to put a roof on a building. Right. So when we first came in, because there's a talk about rent abatements, and people don't understand what that means. So I can't blame people for not being educated in this realm. What I blame are the people that are taking this and trying to twist it. They didn't pay the rent. Makes no sense. Not only did we pay the rent, we prepaid the rent at 0% interest. Let me explain. I'm just going to go through one because there's 4 of them. Anytime we had a rent abatement, we didn't want it. We would much rather the city do it on their own. But if they don't have money, what are we supposed to do? So the first one, let's call it roughly around $100,000. They say, we don't have the money. Can you guys do it? Okay, we don't want to, because where does that money come from? Cash flow. We're a new business. Last thing we want to do is put another $100,000. That's going to take 2 years to pay. Yep. And then they take it off the rent. So what'll happen is certain reporters or investigative reporters will say they didn't pay the rent. And then they actually believe the stuff that's actually being said in the city. Some folks in the city are actually believe their own nonsense. It's completely not true. We've paid the rent from the beginning. Okay. All those rent abatements were monies, and I have a book with all of the amounts of money that we spent on the building, and I can assure you it's much more than this eviction that's happening. So what do I blame the eviction on? I don't blame it on Mayor Smiley. He just came in. He has many different offices and employees. This has been going on for 7 years, so there's a lot of information that certain people will not be able to know. Should have they put it out in the news? No, not just because of me. I'm not worried. Our families are not worried. The problem is brides are worried. You know how many brides are calling us saying, is it going to close? And I have to say, no. Close for what? We prepaid the rent.
Because you do weddings there.
We do weddings, corporate events. But these people are booking a year and a half. I'll give you one example. My wife, who's running it, I don't own Skyline, but my wife that's running it, she gets emails all the time, and it's brides crying. So what was the need to even do such a nonsense thing? It's not true. You heard it here today. I have all of the facts.
Skyline is open.
Open for
not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
All right. Now, Mayor Smiley, is he on board? Is he reaching out saying, hey, sorry that this, where do things stand? Or maybe, who do you deal with? Who's the point person with the city of Providence? So
we've always dealt with Wendy Nielsen, which is in charge of parks. Okay. So kind of put that into perspective. She's not a landlord. It's an unusual system. Yeah. And it's because it's a building that's an oddity. It's owned by the state. Right. The city takes it in. The Parks Department runs it. The legal from the city. So you can see where there is ways that this is not going to go right. Okay. And this is exactly what you're seeing. Mayor has nothing to do with it.
How are the employees of Skyline?
So the reason why the employees at Skyline are always changing is because we're only event based. So let's say, for example, I need a job. We might only have one event this week, or we might have 4, but that's not enough to bring people in. So the one problem I've had at Skyline always is help, because you can't bring in people full time.
And the city won't let you just be open on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I can't tell you how many emails, how many phone calls, how many conversations that we had that we told them that we need. Everyone has the same right. Do you know, I don't know if we're the only one, but we're one of the only ones that have a license till 2 o'clock, but have to close at 12. And again, we signed on for it at the beginning, but we've told them, listen, let's try to do this. Let's try to do this. Do you know how many events I've had in that city? I want to say one more point, and then we can get off of Skyline. One important one is I went to California and met a company called Wet. Wet is the company that did the Bellagio-style water fountains. With talking with the mayor, I went on my own dime and I met with them. I had a whole plan for a whole system in the water basin and the amphitheater to turn that whole place. And I also had a plan to do 20 or 25 stories of apartments, high-end apartments, all glass, looking through the state. I put them on Facebook. I read something recently, again, a reporter had put out there, which is not true, that the city commented that it wasn't something that was possible. On March, I want to say March 13th, it was the day we found out about the pandemic. And I think it was 2019, 2020. It
was March of 20.
Okay, so March 2020, I had a press conference with the mayor. His plan,
Mayor Elorza.
Wow. And my plan were going to be announced that day, and it was going to be funded by the federal government. I was going to fund it through partners, but he was able to take the plan, put it into his plan. As you know, they're going to redevelop that whole city, down, especially in that area. They were going to put those water fountains in with the company Wet. So again, I challenge people to make sure you know what you're actually listening to, because people don't know what they're talking about. But that was the day. You can check it, fact check it, ask the reporter.
But Skyline,
100% open. 100% open.
No problem.
We have weddings this weekend.
Okay.
Go on Instagram, go on Facebook. You'll see all the weddings. Gorgeous weddings. My wife's doing a great job, by the way.
Now, I want to just touch on with Dr. Mota. Now, obviously, The Sopranos have been a big influence on you, to put it mildly. And I want to give an example.
Yeah.
Vinny Paz
Great guy.
went to the Park Cinema and saw Rocky. Next morning, he goes running. Okay, it absolutely catapulted him, and a light went off. I want to be a fighter. Okay, touch on the effect of, like, is there a Dr. Mota before you saw The Sopranos, since you've seen it? Talk about like where were you? Take us through the effect it had on you when you, like, what was the first time you read about it, saw it, someone told you about it?
The funny thing is, when The Sopranos first came out, I never watched it. I heard everybody talk about it. I saw the posters. And then one day I decided to watch it, and I was hooked. Now, again, there's controversy on Mike Mota has all these mobsters on his walls. This here is not a mobster. Okay. That here is not a mobster. That's Armand Assante. This is James Gandolfini. These are actors that play roles as mobsters. Yep. Sopranos, number one, it was the number one TV show in all of the world. The way they filmed it, the way they took comedy and that genre. People love the mob movie genre since the days of Godfather. Yep. We live in a very Italian-based state. Yep. So when I grew up, Mineral Spring, that's where I get this accent. I'm actually Portuguese. I'm 100% Portuguese. Everybody thinks I'm Italian. But the Italian culture, the way they brought the characters together. The reason why I hold James Gandolfini up in a poster.
Who you've met.
I've met.
Yeah.
Is because he is so far from a mobster or anyone that would do such things that a mobster would do, that it just showed how great of an actor that person was. Yep. Armand Assante, chairman of Virtual Cons' board, regardless anything. Regardless what anybody says. Yep. Now he's focusing a little bit on some other things because the pandemic's loosened up a little bit, and he's got some charity things, but was the chairman of the board. To be honest with you, we haven't even had that conversation yet.
But The Sopranos, talk about it, it changed your life.
It did, because I loved the show so much, and I had an opportunity to meet Federico Castelluccio, who's Furio. And the reason why I met him is because there was an event that was happening, and someone had told him they were going to pay him and didn't, and I got to reach out to him. And then the rest is history. We had tons of events. 10 events. We did the biggest event in history called Sopranos Con. That's really what catapulted where I am today with virtual cons. Remember, I was a school teacher. I do have a bachelor's degree. I do have a master's degree. And I paid for both of them. Right, because
doctorate.
That's what I went to school. Yep. My doctorate is an honorary doctorate. Now, that's been pulled a little bit. Oh, it's not accredited. He paid.
Listen, that's the title On your website, Dr. Mota. But just getting back to The Sopranos. Now, you even been to the house in, I think it's North Caldwell, New Jersey, Caldwell, that Tony Soprano lived in. And was there talk that maybe, like, were you drawn that much to it? Like, were you actually thinking, is there a way that you could buy that house?
We had 2 unbelievable events at the house.
At the house.
And we have a purchase and sales right now to purchase the house.
We're going to purchase the house.
We're working on it right now. If we could come to the number, and the reason why...
I would think that's a beautiful section of New Jersey.
Yeah, beautiful.
Is it Caldwell or North Caldwell? It's North, okay. Because I know the Montclair area very well. But would they really be willing to part with it?
They actually put it on that they were going to sell it. I think it was the New York Times. Okay. I've met the gentleman many times. We went to the house. But we're in the process right now. Now, will it happen? Again, at the end of the day, until it happens, it doesn't happen. But we have a purchase and sales. He's ready to go. And the idea is Virtual Cons is an app. And it's an app that ties all kinds of fans together. Just imagine having that app and being able to do the house as an Airbnb. We want to turn that house into a museum. And that museum can be watched live, virtually, right, digitally. So someone in Cambodia.
So a Soprano B&B.
A Sopranos B&B. And then
so people could then come and stay overnight.
With our app.
Wow.
Yeah.
With the app.
No. Oh. They would book it through the app.
Oh, okay.
But they'd have a membership. They'd be able to book it. They'd be able to stay at the house, so you could stay with 4 or 5 people. But for the majority, they'd be able to watch it through live. So we'd have cameras set up everywhere, but it would be forever a museum, not just for me, for all
fans.
Soprano
Okay.
Fans.
Now, Dr. Mota, you did the first Soprano Con, I believe, was at the Jacob Javits Center.
No, it was at the Meadowlands.
The Meadowlands. Oh, wow. Okay. Even big. Did you do one at Jacob Javits?
No, we didn't.
No.
The first one was at the Meadowlands. The second one was at Harrah's Resort Casino.
Okay. Now, the first one at the Meadowlands, I mean, it was wildly successful.
Wild.
The band came in that did the theme song,
Alabama
right?
3.
And then when? And I don't know, when was Harrah's? Meaning, like, what time was that? That was before COVID.
No, it was after.
After COVID.
And that is where we had an issue.
Okay.
So Sopranos Con, history changing. I don't care what anybody says. Anyone that was there, I have people emails, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of emails that said changed their life. We had 55 Sopranos cast members. That never happened in ever.
That was huge.
They didn't even see each other, most of those people, because remember, it was 6 seasons plus B. So some of those characters never met each other. Alabama 3, we flew in from London. Uncle Junior, Dominic Chianese, we flew in.
He sang, right?
I have videos, commentary, testimonials that said, who does this? How did this even happen? It was a wildly successful. We were on Jimmy Fallon. We were on Barstool Sports. You name it, we were on it.
All right, so that went well.
Huge.
Where did the wheels come off with Harrah's?
So what happened with Harrah's, Harrah's is in Atlantic City. Yeah. The problem with Atlantic City, and I love Atlantic City, by the way, the mayor there is great, is that it's kind of like off the beaten path, right? It's not near New York. It's close to New York, but it's kind of out.
I've been to Atlantic City.
So when we did the Meadowlands, it was perfect. Harrah's called us. They saw the success. Rhode Island called us too, but they never called us back. But we had the event was going to happen, and they wanted it to happen at Harrah's. Sopranos Con, huge success. Pandemic hits. We have to change the date. We don't know if we're going to be able to even ever have an event. So we went back and forth with Harrah's. Harrah's is not set up to help promote events. They're there really to just have a hall. So we wanted to do something different. So they had made promises, which I have a list of them, that they were going to do to help us because they chose the date for us. And we didn't think that it was going to work because of the pandemic. But because of everything that was going on, our people were busting out of the seams to get there. We did it. Certain things didn't go perfect. Look, at the end of the day, the event was awesome. People got to meet their idols. But during the pandemic, it was tough. It was tough. And the bills get really high. People don't understand. They think it's nothing. The cast members are not cheap. There's a lot of people to pay.
That's not an easy thing to put together.
It's close to $1 million.
Wow.
Listen, we talk about this all the time. People talk about, this happened or that. I always say, when's your event? because they're not going to have it. They have to be people like me that are willing to take the opportunity to do it. And you have to know that not everything in business is going to make money, but they're called loss leaders, meaning they're going to help you to the next one. Sure. And that's where I am today. I mean, we now have Virtual Cons. Yep. It's an app. We have Virtual Cons TV, a streaming platform anywhere in the world. Any smart TV, you go to VCTV, we can stream any pieces of content that we want. So the objective is still there. Everything is still coming together, but here is the problem. People don't want to wait. They're so impatient. And I don't know if it's a Rhode Island mentality, because when you do business outside of Rhode Island, people think a lot different. And just imagine getting a stock certificate or some type of membership and hoping that your world's going to change in a year or two. Most businesses don't start to make money to year 3 if they survive. Yep. Disney certificates 20, 30 years before they made money. We haven't even been there for 2 years. And you wouldn't believe, I have people, I thought this $100 I spent, I was going to get eye surgery. So I just think that people just need to be patient, not read everything that's out there.
Let me ask you about, so Virtual Con, if you were to do it over, instead of people coming and attending in person, is the thought that then they could watch on the app the different events? Just because I'm not that familiar with it.
Hybrid. At the time Virtual Con was born, just to go back a bit. Pandemic had just hit. 3 or 4 weeks I'm sitting there saying, oh no, Skyline can't have people. This conventions can't have people. What are we going to do? So I called the whole company together. I had a team meeting, and I said, listen, we're going to be a technology company. We're going to build an app, and we're going to allow people to come together all over the world. And that's what we're building. Like, we're literally building this. We have our own app in the Apple Store and Android Store. We have our own streaming platform all over the world.
And is there I'm unfamiliar with it. Is there content on it right now, or it's coming?
We launched a beta version, and it went bananas.
It did.
It went bananas. We had all kinds of people wanted to be a part of it. Ice-T, Cisco, a ton of people. However, technology changes all the time. So we had to make sure that now in phase 2 that we're integrating NFTs, the meta world, virtual reality. VR is a huge piece of it. But it takes time. It takes money. It takes a lot of pieces to the puzzle. So when we launched this, the idea was if the world never comes back the same that it did, we're going to be ready for it. But we want to create a hybrid. We want people to come to an event. But just imagine a concert where instead of 1,000 people, 1 million people can join in. Instead of a convention where 10,000 people will be there, 1 million people get to come. And they all get to come to our streaming platform. Yep. And that's the objective. So that's what we're trying to accomplish.
All right. Now, there's a great episode of The Sopranos where Artie, he has the woman that works at his restaurant. What was
his wife?
No, no. The woman, she's French, and she introduced him to John Pierre.
Yeah.
What was the name? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
You put me on the spot. I know exactly
Savulio is the restaurant, right? That's Artie's.
Vesuvio's, yeah.
Okay. And so he borrows the money.
Yes.
From Tony. Right?
He borrows the money. He borrows the money from Tony.
He went to Ralphie, and
he said, "No, we don't do it with friends.
I don't want to because then I'm going to have to come and see you." So he borrows it from Tony.
Yeah.
And then he goes to John Pierre's apartment. He won't pick up the phone. He's rehearsing in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
John
He's going to beat him up. Yeah.
Something wrong? And then they get in a fight, and the guy rips his earring off, gets off, and then Tony sends Furio over. So, but he says the marketing money is gone. So now, as far as crypto, where are things right now with crypto? Because there are people out there who have contacted me and said, I gave him $5,000, and what I want to address now is not a rehash, but if there's someone watching right now, are they going to see their investment? Is it a Artie John Pierre thing? Is it gone?
Rip the earring off?
Yes. Where do things stand with is it the Virtual Con Crypto? Is that the name of it?
So if we go back, I want to say it was about a year ago, crypto was a massive phenomenon. No one really knew what was going on. Everybody wanted to be a part of it. Yep. We never created our own crypto coin. I say this on thousands of videos. What happened was I was approached at Mob Movie Con that said, we can create a coin for you. Now, what people don't understand is what a coin even is, what a token even is.
Right.
And that the fact that you need a utility, which means what is the coin going to do? What they saw was people buying Bitcoin, okay, and they thought, oh, I'm going to invest this and I'm going to put it. I've said since day one, number one, never, ever invest $1 you're not willing to lose.
I've said that to people?
On
Wow.
quote. Nobody can send a video or photo or anything saying Mike Mota asked anyone for anything. What I did was we are going to have a coin that was created by a third party.
Yep.
You can buy that coin. Our job is to give utility to that coin, okay? Now, since that day to now, things have gone crazy with coin. So what we've had to do is try to figure out how do we make a coin very valuable, okay? Making a coin very valuable, to do that, you have to make sure that there's utility, things for them to use, okay? If they don't have anything that they could actually use it for, then it's really worthless. But it takes time. It's like a stock. You get a stock, but you have to make sure the company's worth something so that stock goes up. Coin is the same way. We never had anybody's coin. So when people say, I'm missing my coin, I get emails all the time, and we've sent so many videos to people. One of the things I wish I didn't get involved with was getting folks involved in the coin, because I was trying to get everybody to be a part of this. And the idea is our success is their success. So people that say, I gave him nobody gave me 4,000 anything.
Oh,
Okay? No one signed any document that said they're giving Mike Mott or anything, or virtual cons. What they did is buy coin with the thought that it was going to grow. It's like going to a casino. I'm going to put $20. I hope it's 40. But
Yep.
some people leave with nothing. To answer your question, are they out of money? No, of course not. What we did is we said, okay, you bought your coin through a company called Knightsbridge. Okay? We're going to use that coin in our app. Now, this is where it got twisted again. I said people will be able to use the coin to go to events. They'll be able to use it for swag. People started saying, oh, I didn't buy this to buy T-shirts. No. The idea is the more people use that currency, the more value. It's a supply and demand.
Yep.
Right now there's a supply out there, but the demand is not high because our website in phase 2 of our app's not even out. So what do you think it's going to be worth? I mean, to think you put $100 in and you're going to make $1 million is just ludicrous.
Right.
Instead, what I've said to people, be patient. We're creating a utility. Okay, we're actually partnering with another coin as well to do some more things with it.
Yep.
There is value to it, but something is only worth what someone's willing to pay.
That's right.
Don't spend $1, a penny, you're not willing to lose. Why would you want to try to hurt your company that you want to go to the moon? So that's the problem with coin. So to answer your question quickly, and I know it took a little bit long,
No, that's
it's
okay.
an explanation.
But right now,
coin has to be worth what someone wants to spend for it.
Sure.
Right now, there is no utility for the coin because you can't use it. So why would you buy coin if you can't use it? The idea is to save it. It's like gold. You take the gold, you put it away, and you say, hopefully it's worth more money later on.
So
no one will lose money.
If someone
being a
put
part of
down just $5,000,
Their
what should
coins
they
are
do
in their
right now?
wallet. Their coins are in their wallet. Never were in my wallet. They were in their wallet. Now what happens is they want to make sure that they're part of what we're doing, help promote us. When the app comes out, push it. We have a Biztainment program. People have Biztainment credit cards with money on them. They could buy anything anywhere in the world. Be part of it. Help spread the word. Let us get our events out there. Give it a little bit of time. That's why you invested. But stop the, you gave me money. You didn't give me anything. You bought
You
your
hear
own
that from
coin.
people email?
You know what it is, though? We again, I hate to say it because I love Rhode Island, but we're so small-minded. I gave him 1,000. Now he's driving a car. No, I'm driving a car because I have a job. You might not have a job, but I have one. Oh, it's a nice car. I have a really nice job. I work hard. I work 24/7, 7 days a week. That's why they invested. But, John, it's hundreds of people. We live in a world with billions of people.
Yep.
They're so small-minded. And
Do you think a lot of the people of Rhode Island are just, they're impatient? Is that what it comes down to?
100%. They're impatient. They don't want to see anybody succeed. I'll be honest with you. They don't want to see. I would never, ever post things online. So as you know, someone wrote a story about me.
Yep.
a lot of falsehoods. Right here is all the information, right? And I just challenge people to just get the truth.
What has the effect been on your life, without going through the whole story or anything, but what's been the effect on you or your family since these, and there's been actually several stories, but since they started coming out?
Great question. Me personally, nothing. Because now I'm 42 and I'm in another world. I don't think like I did 10 years ago. My poor wife, who gets calls and letters, he's cheating on you, he's doing this. It's just nonsense stuff. But she's past that. My kids, more my son, has to hear in school, oh, this one owes money or this one owes money. And you have to think to yourself, why would somebody write a story like that without having the actual facts? Why would somebody want to hurt somebody else, right? I don't want to hurt anybody else. Why would somebody want to hurt somebody so bad? I mean, we're talking bad. Like, they said some real nasty things.
Now, you did sit down with the reporter, right? She had access to you.
I had...
Oh, like, was there... Do you feel... And you don't have to show me anything,
but
was there a misunderstanding of what the nature of the stories were going to be?
Well, there's misunderstanding because they only put the pieces they wanted to. So this particular reporter worked at the Providence Journal, and I'm not going to go into too much, but I just wanted to say that it started in 2017.
Okay.
That's where...
Here's what I was trying to... Were you surprised when the story came out?
No.
You were not surprised?
No.
And you were still willing to sit down?
1,000%. And I'll still sit down with any reporter, especially this person, on the Boston Globe or anything else if they want, and I'll bring the facts. Don't give a 2-hour interview and only give 1-minute clips. Release the whole thing.
Okay. So
and I have stuff too. I'll release the whole thing. And
you were not blindsided when that came out? So
no, she would follow me to my car and come to my office, and it was getting scary. My neighborhood, I don't know why someone would want to attack somebody like that. It's different world we live in.
Has it affected the business of Dr. Mota?
No.
And I want to I'm going to do a rehash for everyone. So Memorial Hospital.
Yes.
That's happening. I mean, to me, it sounds like things are in motion.
You know when you wake up in the morning and you read what's on social media and the news, and then you actually look at reality and you say to yourself, what are they talking about?
Well, yes,
every day I'm here.
The mayor's on board, Governor McKee's on board, and the Attorney General is just, he's fulfilling his obligation?
Yeah, I mean, there's a cypre on the building. He has to be a part of it. That's how it works.
Now, Skyline, and that was widely reported, even on the television stations. That's open, you're doing business, and it sounds like, how would you describe that? Are there some bumps in the road with the Smiley administration, but you guys feel you're on firm footing? Is that fair?
I would say that they should not have put out an eviction notice because it scared everybody. They should have talked to us.
They're not evicting you then, or they're trying to?
They could try anything. Anybody could try anything. It's just never going to happen.
Okay, it's not going to happen.
No.
Okay. Now, is Gotti 2... Is that in development? Is that going to see the light of day, or entertainment can be fickle, but where does that stand?
Listen, it's a blockbuster movie. Yep. We purchased the rights from the Gotti family. Money exchanged hands, and yes, we have all intentions to have Armand Assante reprise the role. Okay. Now, will it come to? I'm not 100%. My gut would say that I want it to be, but anything can happen, John. I mean, Armand might get another acting job. He can't do it. But yes, for all intensive purposes, we've already begun conversations, clearly, video interviews.
What were your dealings like with John Gotti Jr.?
He's a great guy. Look, at the end of the day...
Is he anxious for this to happen?
For sure.
He is.
The Gotti movie that came out with John Travolta. John Travolta's a great guy. It was nothing like what
bomb.
It was not the same. Yeah. So he actually, Armand Assante is the one that came to me, and I'm the one that set John Gotti Jr. up with Armand Assante, and we had conversations, meetings. I brought them together. I actually did some business with John Gotti Jr. You could see he's working with Cookies, which is the marijuana brand. Berner, who owns Cookies, worldwide brand. I brought the two of them together. So yes, of course, but things don't happen yesterday. It has to take time to brew. Okay. The story still has to be written. I know what the story should be, and I want to shoot it 100%.
So Skyline is opening. It's open. people can book events. You are 100%. Doing things this weekend.
We have events now for the next year and a half booked.
Wow. And the city, could they even stop you if they wanted to, or is that a legal thing?
Well, listen,
and again, I don't know the answer.
Listen, it's a legal thing. My attorney, Mike Lepizzera, as you guys know, he's awesome. I think it was a mistake for them to do it. We know that we paid the rent, and then there was something about garbage. Again, it's ludicrous. Okay. Are they trying to scare us? Is it a political thing? I don't know. I don't own Skyline. I don't even work there.
Right.
So
You've
all
just
I know is from the
it.
outside. Yeah.
Okay. Is it difficult dealing with vendors with Skyline?
Absolutely.
It is.
There's no parking at Skyline. The place never succeeded for a reason, right? Can't be a restaurant. You got to be closed by 12 o'clock. It's hard to maneuver. They took away our dumpster after 7 years and 10 years before having a dumpster. There's illegal things that happen down there. Needles, homeless. Yep. You know how many? They ripped our tent. How many times they ripped our tent? You know how many times they broke in? Do you know our air conditioning system is $50,000? We've had to replace it now twice because they stole all the copper. So listen, it's not been a piece of cake. Yep. And again, I want to just mention, because again, it's out there, and I think it's important. There was a PPP and restaurant revitalization grant that had come out during pandemic. Yep. Many, many restaurants got it. Of course, now it's become, Mike Mota took the money and ran. In order to get PPP, which is actually for employees, a bank had to give you the money. They gave it to you in a formula. They didn't say, hey, Mike, how much you want? That's the mentality. It's sickening. They had to follow a formula. They gave the money. Yep. And again, they didn't give it to me because I don't own Skyline. That's how bad story writing is these days. The PPP money was given out. Then it has to be forgiven. If not, you have to pay it back. How does it get forgiven? You must follow to the T all the criteria. So we're a big business. We have a CPA. The CPA sends in all the information, and then they hit approve right here, approved, meaning you don't have to pay it back because you followed the guidelines. Okay. Did I take it for a car? Did I go buy a house? No, we took it for the place. Restaurant revitalization grant. I want to say 15 restaurants got it. Same thing. You follow the law. The law comes out and says, hey, you can use it for A, B, C, D, E. Okay, we then use it for A, B, C, D, E. The CPA gives it to the federal government. That's why investigative reporters are looking in and trying to tie things, but no other people are because it wouldn't make sense. Then they give us permission to use it as a grant, and it's forgiven.
Okay. So Skyline is rolling.
Skyline's rolling.
So, okay.
Let's go.
Crypto.
Yes.
What is your message to people that say, I invested with the crypto? Where's my return on my investment?
If someone bought crypto or a virtual coin, you 100% have access to sell it today, just like you had access a year ago to sell it. Do you sell it when it's a down market? My suggestion is no, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. Do I know the future of what we're doing with virtual cons? Yes. Is the coin involved in it? Yes. Do I think the coin value will go up? Yes. But like I said from day one, never invest $1 you need tomorrow because you never know if it's going to go away. That's right. I don't own the coin. I'm not the coin world. I'm not the crypto world. The SEC has very clear now guidelines. Didn't have them then. We're following them, and we have the utility that coin needs to make it value. If you have it, you still own it. Give it some time. Don't say we have it, and if you're lost and you don't know how to do it, that's okay. Tell me. Don't go out on social media. You're only bashing the company you want the coin to succeed. Who does that? Yep. It's like the president, right? We bring in a president. You know you're a Trump fan. I'm a Trump fan, full disclosure. Yep. We beat the shit out of him from day one. Yep. How can he do his job?
Well, the press did.
The press, yeah. And people, half the country, right? Yes. They pull them down, and you're drowning these people. Don't do that. Let them do the job that you put them in for. Yep. Same thing with me. Let me do what I need to do.
Do you, and we're only going to go a couple more minutes, are you still optimistic about the future of Dr. Mota and the various companies you're involved in?
1,000,000%. Now more than ever before. We just got acquired by a publicly traded company. again, a report
Would
said
this
that.
be a good time for people to buy the stock?
Listen, I'm not telling anybody to
No,
buy
I
anything.
understand.
And I'm going to say the same thing I said day
What's the
one. and
publicly
it's on the
traded
record.
stock?
It's BAYP. It's not being traded right now. Let me explain.
Okay.
Again, another false misconception out there. Bayport's defunct. Now we got to sue these people because they're out there saying things that are not true. How can you run a business? John DePietro show doesn't work.
Yep.
And then they go to, it doesn't make sense. You can't say things that are not true. So let me just say that Bayport International Holdings is 100% not defunct. It's a real estate, Memorial Hospital, and a big one in Florida. It's many other things. It's technology and it's entertainment. It bought VirtualCon. I don't even own VirtualCons. I'm the president of all of them. But wait, what's important to understand about that is Bayport, it has a caveat emptor, which means it's not open for trading. The reason why it's not open for trading is because our CEO and chairman had to sue the gentleman that was a part of it, and he won successfully. But during a lawsuit, you're not filing quarterly reports because it's not active. Now we're filing, we have a CFO, we have corporate counsel, we have I said CFO, CTO, we have all of those parties, and I'm the president. All of that information now is being handed over. So what I did when I got the company acquired is anyone that participated in VirtualCons, either it be BizTainment, buy a coin, I gave them shares of the new company for free out of my own. They didn't buy them. Okay, it was a gift. They'll have shares. Once it starts to actually trade, then we announce everything. We haven't announced anything because why would we? It's like premature. The stock's not gonna go up yet.